fighting for him to get off death row. And once he got off the death row, everyone felt as though what they needed to do was done, because he didn't have to fear for his life anymore. And so that slowed the whole process down. And what we should have been talking about all the time is instead of getting him off death row, which is only part of it, is that we should have been talking about freedom.
Innocence.
We should have been talking about innocence.
Period.
You know, so that's what we have to do now. We have to kind of go back around and fix what we didn't do right, and do it right.
What's the call? Nemo. What's the call?
Okay, so I want to just add a few things. On the Innocence Project, which actually fits with the same question, the Innocence Project, I'm more familiar with the Innocence Project in New York. And quite frankly, they represent a group of people that have decided that Mumia is not innocent. And that's part of the reason why, and it has to do with the fact of how political Mumia's case is. And that there's a great part of the bar, even the so-called liberal bar, and the people who are fighting capital cases who view that Mumia's case is a kiss of death, no pun intended, to their clients and their work because of what Mumia represents and how much the state has gone after him. And so that's why it really is on not just a political level, but on an actual real life level, important to understand the depth of why they are going after him and what it will take to fight back against it. And that's why, for instance, and I tried talking to Barry Scheck, for instance, and I could tell you other stories, which I'm not going to right now, but it's also part of the reason why Mumia's, main lawyer, Len Weinglass, basically did not present evidence of Mumia's innocence, actually undermined evidence of Mumia's innocence.
Yeah, right.
And it has to do with a particular mindset over what it is you're willing to fight and what you're willing to prove. And this goes back to the question over, is this systemic? In the question you had about Arnold Beverly. Arnold Beverly is the person who confessed. And what he said, and I first met Arnold Beverly in 1989. And at that time he told me the basic outlines of what his later confession was. However, it was not on the question, of what was going to, of his actual saying that he was responsible for doing the shooting. But he said that this was a planned hit, that he had actually been paid by police on behalf of the corrupt police and the mob to kill Faulkner because Faulkner was making trouble for the mob and the corrupt police. And what that trouble was not particularly defined. I mean, I believe from everything that was said later and what's in my affidavit was filed in court in an amended habeas corpus for Mumia in 2001, is that in fact, that the role that Faulkner was playing was an informant for the FBI in these corruption investigations, which doesn't mean that Faulkner was, quote, a good guy. It doesn't mean he wasn't a racist pig, which is what I heard he was by any number of different people. It means that's what he was doing for whatever reason, to get ahead because he was against corruption. I don't know, it really doesn't matter because really the case isn't about Daniel Faulkner. It's about the frame-up of Mumia Abu-Jamal. But the reasons why Faulkner was killed is very germane to the many multiple layers of why the prosecution has done what it's done to Mumia.